good turnout on the shir last night.
Yeah, it's Yaakov. I saw 235 people.
Wow.
What, the ladies
It's not like the
What
Daf.
happened?
What?
The
It's
ladies
not like the Daf.
Yeah.
Not like the Daf.
Yeah, the ladies
You
shift.
should have promoted it to me. You should have told them all to tell their husbands to join the Daf.
Yeah, I want to know
Yeah.
how many people from the Daf snuck in to see what was going on.
Harris, we'll circle back offline.
Okay, I see it's a shvacha crowd tonight. What are the Hanukkah parties?
No, I think I got confused between the 8 o'clock and the 9 o'clock.
Is that what it was? Or they're all on the YU call about whether you should take the vaccine.
Chaim
Did
said
you
to
see
take
the-
it.
Yeah, you saw the video of Chaim?
I get my information from this daf. So until I hear from the Olam what's going on out there, that's
Me
how I
too.
find out
Me
my-
too. I have no idea what they're talking about.
The mayor of
The-
Yerushalayim
the-
asked
the-
their
That's a
client
bad
to-
place to get information from. Just
That's
saying.
true, but it can't be fake news. Can't hurt
The
fake news.
Gera Rebbe took it today. His Rebbitzin has it. The Gera Rebbe. So he took the
Oh,
shot today. Yeah.
And so did Rabbi Lau.
Yeah, a lot of the Rebbes, they said, are taking tomorrow. A lot of the Rebbes are taking.
What are they? Frontline workers?
They're
guess.
what are they called? Influencers.
No, they're promoters now. They're big promoters.
Influencers.
They got it. Yeah, influencers. Very good, Rabbi. From TikTok.
But I heard Israel has another strain now, COVID-20 or something.
No, that's UK, London.
No, my niece's seminary, someone had it.
There's a girl in the Chon Raya who has it.
Coming
Yeah,
from London.
My
It's
sister,
coming
my
from
sister-in-law
the
told me
UK.
that there's a new and the vaccine doesn't help for that.
And the UK one is very bad, right?
I don't know. I just took my sister-in-law.
It's a lot. It's a lot more contagious.
Naftali, that's completely fake news. They don't know yet.
No.
Yeah, the fact that the vaccine might or might not work against that is unknown now. They said it probably will work against it.
It does work.
But they don't know. Yeah.
I read it
The
does.
strain does.
The new strain.
Yeah, it probably does. The strain does. It doesn't mutate to a completely different disease. It doesn't work that way.
My sister-in-law got a phone call from the seminary in Israel today, and this is the information she got straight from the seminary.
Well, if the seminary says it, it must be. Those are the premium. That's who we probably went to make the original vaccine.
I no, I'm just saying it's coming from.
Listen, everybody
usually
wants to
is a step ahead.
Stoves have been
Very
burnt by
strong.
seminaries before.
That's right. Everybody
We
wants to
should have
stay-
gone to them.
stay away
They would have
from-
made the
from-
vaccine in 3
right.
months if we went to the
I
seminary.
give it relax.
No wonder why we paid them 20 grand.
Everybody wants to stay away from seminary girls. You know, even a disease wants to stay away from a seminary girl.
Yaakov, have a little charata that didn't join the shir in January when he started it. You know?
Yaakov, we're coming up
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
anniversary, by the way.
That's right. The anniversary party. That's right.
By the way, what's gewaldic is this vaccine isn't even in a quarter of the population, and they're already saying it doesn't work for the other. Nobody knows if it works for this one.
Parents, when are you getting it?
Monday.
My brother got it on Friday.
Monday as in tomorrow?
No, Monday the 28th. Nach the Yom Tov.
Chalamite.
Yeah. Isru Chag.
You have
Shalom
to
get it already?
quarantine.
Did Shalom get it
If
already,
you get the
Barrett?
first, if you get, no, I don't think so.
He put something on
No.
one of his stat, a vaccine something.
If you get it, you have to what? You have to quarantine.
No. Why would you have to quarantine? They monitor you. That's all.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
then
know.
you have to
Somebody
get
said
a
that you
few
gotta
shots, no?
quarantine.
You get 2 shots.
one
3 weeks.
You get
after
2
the
shots.
First one.
2 shots.
Officially, one is like spread like a month apart, and one's 3 weeks apart. Depends. Moderna is like I think 3 weeks, or the other way around. The one's 4 weeks.
A Moderna shot. All right, ready to roll.
Pfizer's 21 days, and the Moderna's 28 days. No, you don't have to quarantine, but people they still don't know for sure if you can still transmit the virus. You'll be immune to the effects of the virus, but it doesn't mean that if you come in contact with somebody, you can then transfer it to the next person.
By what? By doing what? How are you transferring?
How would you get it?
By having the virus, meaning you can have the virus, you can shed the virus, you can pass the virus on, but the
How are
virus
you
will
immune
not
then?
affect your body.
How are you immune then if you're going to get the virus?
He
Immune
just
means you don't
told
get the
you.
virus. If you're immune, you mean you don't get the virus.
You're immune from the symptoms of the virus.
That's not what immune
But you-
means.
you're saying
Immune
you
does not
get-
mean
you
you're
get
immune
the
from
virus,
the
it
symptoms.
just doesn't affect you.
That's not what
they
immune
don't
means.
know.
And
They
therefore,
don't
if you get
know
it
yet.
and you can give it to somebody
That's
else,
what-
even though it's not affecting you, is that what you're saying, parents?
That's what
they
prophylactic
don't
antibiotics
yet.
do. That's not what immunity shots do.
That's not what immunity means. Immunity
I
means you don't get it. It doesn't
Right
allow it
now-
to infect your system.
Right now, that's what they're saying. They don't
The whole
know.
testing, the 94% means that 94% of the people did not get infected by it. That was the percentage that didn't that still
No, they
that it's
don't know.
efficacy.
Akiva, they don't know if they didn't.
Then what
get
does
infected
94%
or they
of efficacy
didn't-
mean?
Or they
Look at
didn't.
this.
Jacob, I
We have a
sent you
whole
the
medical
video.
journal team here. Look at this.
Did
I'm
I
just
log on to
asking.
the
I don't
wrong
understand what
chat?
it means.
The wrong Zoom
Akiva, it
conference?
means it's very
the
hard to
medical-
Okay,
I sent you the
okay.
video,
Parents,
Jacob.
parents, can you stop muting everyone? Let's start the daf.
Oh,
Liner, you're the one
Naftali,
who
you're
starts with the seminaries, Liner.
There's a daf?
Jacob, I sent you the video, Jacob.
This was the
Okay,
medical
thank you.
conference.
Let me just tell you something. Tonight's stuff, this is the easy part of tonight's stuff, okay? Tonight's stuff is probably as hard as it comes. I shouldn't say that because the island's just gonna give up, but it's this tonight's stuff ain't no walk in the park, let me tell you.
Which is
Let me tell you. No,
Parents,
chas
you want to
v'sholom.
start the recording again?
Kidding.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so the chazer from yesterday. So we really we need to chazer from yesterday. Today we mamish have to chazer from yesterday. Otherwise, we'll not mamish won't have any idea what the story is with today's daf. So the Mishna said, right on Chav Chesam and Aleph, that chametz of a guy is mutter bahana after Pesach, but a yid's chametz after Pesach is also bahana. Okay, then there were 3 shitas. The Gemara brings down 3 shitas about chametz on Pesach. Right, that's on the bottom of Chav Chesam and Aleph, and then onto Chav Chesam and Beis. Rabbi Yehuda is the most machmer. Okay, if you jot this down, it would be easier for probably to stick with this because it's going to go on for the next blot and a half. These 3 shitas. So Rabbi Yehuda holds that chametz on Pesach, it's a lav and chorus. Right. Before Pesach, meaning from Chatzos Erev Pesach and Motzei and Chametz Sha'over Lava Pesach is a lav, but not chorus. Again, so Rabbi Yehuda holds on Pesach it's a lav and chorus. From Chatzos Erev Pesach it's just a lav, no chorus, and Chametz Sha'over Lava Pesach is a lav. Okay, and he's not mechalik between a goy's chametz and a yid's chametz. That's Shitas Rabbi Yehuda. Shitas Rab Shimon is chametz before Pesach from Chatzos, and chametz she'over lova Pesach. You're not over on anything. During Pesach, you're over on chorus and a lav. Right, and then we had that's shita number 2 again. Rab Shimon is on Pesach; it's a lav and chorus. Before and after Pesach, no iser at all. So he's clearly not on Mishna, Rab Shimon, and at least on the surface. And Rabbi Yossi Aglili is the 3rd shita. He says chametz is mutter bahana even on Pesach, right? Those are the 3 shitas. So clearly, none of these 3 shitas are our Mishnah, because our Mishnah says that a guy's chametz is mutter bahana after Pesach, so that can't be Rabbi Yehuda, because Rabbi Yehuda holds all chametz is also after Pesach. And the seif of the Mishnah that says that a yid's chametz is also bahana, right? So that can't be Reb Shimon, because he holds chametz before and after Pesach is mutter, and it can't be Rabbi Yossi Aglili. He even holds chametz on Pesach is mutter bahana. So those are the 3 shitas, and that's where we left off on the top of Chav Tesam and Aleph. That who's the Mishnah like? We don't have anybody. We don't know who the Mishnah is like. Fine. So that's 3rd line down. That's where we pick it up. Somer Rav Acha bar Yaakov lo'ilam Rabbi Yehuda. So he says no, really it's Rabbi Yehuda. V'yolef sa'ar da'achila misa'ar de're'iyah. And he learns out sa'ar, what do you call sa'ar? Leaven, right? From achila, from sa'ar de're'iyah, from the passuk of just seeing the chametz, right? Masar de're'iyah shel chayat roya lam teroya shel chen v'shel gavaya. So just like Sa'ar, like we learned, you're not allowed to see your own, but you're allowed to see other people's chametz and gavaya and Hekdesh's chametz. Af Sa'ar da'achila shel chol yataychel aval ha'taychel shel achem shel gavaya. But Sa'ar, you're allowed to eat. Yours you're not allowed to eat, but you're allowed to eat somebody else's chametz and from the gavaya chametz, right? And that obviously is referring to a goy. And then a goy's chametz. Why does it say a goy's chametz is mutter bahana, mashmatz aser ba'achila? Right. So why did the Mishnah say it that way? So the Gemara answers that even ba'achila a goy's is mutter. Since it says that he Yisrael's is also ba'ana, so it also says the guys is mutter ba'ana, but really the guys is mutter ba'achila too.
So Yaakov,
yeah.
so Gavaya could own chametz on Pesach. That's what I'm understanding from this.
Well, we had it before right? We said what do you call it? Lo yara lecha sa'ar v'lo yara chametz, right? Yeah. You are not achroi on the chametz of Gavaya.
So that means Gavaya could have
Right.
chametz.
See, yeah, meaning midaraisa, yeah.
Yeah,
Midaraisa
we're
for
talking about-
sure.
So why doesn't the
Yeah.
Gizba of Hekdesh buy ShopRite before Pesach, and then Motzi Pesach, everybody can get chametz. They don't have the whole big deal. Who's the distributor? Who owns it? You don't distribute in Kentucky, or is a guy own it? Blah 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 blah. They go to get as you leave Yerushalayim, you get a shopping bag full of chametz from the Gizba.
The only thing is, yeah, I hear. The only thing is, then you're going to have to. It's Hekdesh. So you're gonna have to be somehow. You have to be machal. You're gonna have to be machal it. Otherwise, the whole oil.
So you mean machal?
They'll get their bagels and their pizza, but they're gonna get themselves a big fat
big problem.
eating
Big problem. Yeah.
No, so I guess there would be a way to be mavatal it. I don't know. I hear it. I don't know. I hear it's a good point.
Be paid there with its value.
What? Be paid there with the value. You'll have to give money, right? And that money will go to Hekdesh.
Okay.
I hear. As I was reading it, what do you say?
You still got your
As long as you get
chametz
your chametz.
for
100%.
less than retail value.
Yeah, and a chanami. Okay, I don't know what to do with that. I hear. Let's see. And really, we should say that even toichs manoi, it's mutter bahana. Because if we're saying that you're allowed to see shalacherim and shalaktish, right? So then it should also be mutter even on Pesach. That since we had to say that a yid's is also achas manoi, it's a tananami denachri lachas manoi. It also said that a goy's is achas manoi, but really a goy's chametz is mutter even toichs manoi, right? That's how we're saying that Rabbi Yehuda could be the Tan of our Mishnah. That's Rav Acha bar Yaakov. Rava Amar
According to that, I can go past the Goysha bakery, take a geschmack smell, and say, gewaldig.
Yes, 100%. Thank you. Yeah, 100%. According to this shita, a goy's chametz is mutter bahana. Yes, then we wouldn't have had that whole issue from 2 blot ago, right? Of going in the street and smelling the chametz on Cholamayit. Yeah, that's Rav Acha bar Yaakov's teretz. Rav Amar Reb Shimon, he says it's Reb Shimon. Now, this is the way we paskin. The Amud would be gewaldig. If we just do this shita, everything would be so simple. So if the Olam has a hard time with the Amud, these next 2 lines is the ikr zach that you got to come out from the whole sugya. This is the way we paskin. It's Reb Shimon. Again, Reb Shimon says chametz is chorus during Pesach, and before and after is not a problem. So then, if before and after is not a problem, so why does the Mishnah say that a yid's chametz that's after Pesach is also ba'ana? Reb Shimon knasa kanas. It's a knas. Since a yid didn't get rid of his chametz, so he's over on Bal Yirah B'Yimotza. So therefore, they made a knas on him, and therefore he's not allowed to use his chametz. So really, Ne'ikra din, Reb Shimon would hold chametz after Pesach was no problem. The Chacham put a knas, right? I guess why they feel the need to make a knas.
What about before Pesach?
I guess what?
What about
No,
before?
before
The
Pesach is
6
not an
to
issue. They
6
don't make a
before.
knas. They didn't make a knas on that. They only made a knas on after Pesach.
So
Is the
according to
knas-
Shimon, you
the
can eat until Shkia, chametz.
No. You're just not over on a lav or chorus. There's no lav or chorus.
You're
Is
just not
the
allowed.
No,
knas-
you're not over on a lav. If you
And there's no knas.
That's a good
if
point,
you eat-
Naftali.
Right. And there's no knas.
And there's no knas. There's no knas. But so we made a knas. If
Is
a
the
guy's
knas
not
only
taking the
owner?
chametz serious.
Is the knas
What do you
only
say?
for the owner? Is the knas only for the owner?
As opposed to who?
Somebody else.
You mean somebody
After
else
Pesach.
buys it off of him? You sound like
Yeah.
that?
Somebody else
Yeah,
buys
so
it from him,
no,
goes
yeah,
in and
because
takes
that's
it.
no.
Something.
You mean if I go to some guy leaves over chametz over his house and I go and grab it,
Yeah.
and he would not get any hana from it?
No. How now does he get from you taking it from his house?
Right. I hear.
Meaning
I'm not
it's
sure.
also for
He
everybody.
gets a lot of honor. What do you mean? He gets a lot of honor. He doesn't have chametz now.
Why?
He's not supposed to have chametz.
No, I'm
It's
saying
after
that he-
Pesach already.
There's no hana there.
You just talking about Erev. You said you're
Right.
talking about
No.
before Pesach.
I'm saying after
No,
Pesach.
After Pesach. After Pesach. You know, you go to a guy who doesn't care, a fryer guy, yeah, he doesn't care about chametz. You go steal it from him, finished. Do you have that knas? There shouldn't be a knas on you, right? You sold your chametz.
Unless it's like Rabbi Yochanan
I hear.
Assembler by Meister Shabbos.
What? That we answer it
Asher l'chol ha'olam.
for everybody.
Yeah.
That's true, but that's only if they get okay, maybe. Okay, I hear that. Okay, so the Gemara asks, Bishlam the Rava, Hainu de Ketani Shel Yisrael Asur Mishum Shenemar Lo Yirah. So it's good according to Rava that it says Shel Yisrael Asur, right? That's because it says Lo Yirah, so you're not allowed to see, right? Because you were over on the Isser, right? Again, Rava is saying that it was a knas. So it says in the Mishna, what's the lashon of the Mishnah? Yisrael's asur ba'ano shenemar lo yirah. Since you were over on Bal Yirah, therefore we made a knas that your chametz is asur ba'ano even after Pesach. Elo Rav Acha bar Yaakov, mishum lo yochel chametz b'boile. Rav Acha bar Yaakov is saying that the issue is that you're not allowed to eat chametz, not benefit from chametz. And why is it saying lo yirah lecha in the Mishnah? The last words in the Mishnah. So Gemara says, "Misavar sasefa koy aresha koy." That line of lo yochel chametz is not going on the safe, it's going on the ratio. This is what it says. Chametz shel nachri, she'orel of a Pesach, muter bahano. A guy's chametz after Pesach is muter bahano, mishum shenemar lo yirah lecha. It says you shouldn't see chametz. Shel choya ataraya, you shouldn't see your own chametz. Aval ataraya shel lechem shel gavaya. But you could see other people's chametz. V'yalev sa'ar da'achila misar da'riyah. And we learn out the sa'ar from achila, from the sa'ar achila, we learn from the sa'ar of the riyah. Right, so it's really going on the ratio that the guys is mutter, and that's why it says lo yach. And they both go according to their svaras someplace else, meaning Rav Acha bar Yaakov and Rava have a same Machlokes someplace else. The itmar ha'oichel sa'ar shel nachri she'avla b'Pesach. If somebody eats sa'ar of a nachri that was after Pesach, the divrei Rabbi Yehuda, according to Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that chametz after Pesach is asur, Rava amar loika. Rava said you're going to get makkos. Rav Acha bar Yaakov amar ain't loika. Rav Acha bar Yaakov says you're not going to get makkos. Rava amar loika. Rava says you're going to get makkos. Lo yalef Rabbi Yehuda sa'ar da'achila misar da'riyah. He does not learn out sa'ar of achila from sa'ar da'riyah. Right? Meila, you don't know that a guy's chametz is mutter. So therefore, it's also midiraisa to eat a guy's chametz after Pesach according to Rabbi Yehuda. Right? But Rav Acha bar Yaakov amar ain't according to Rava. But Rav Acha bar Yaakov amar ain't loika. You don't get makkos. Yalef sa'ar da'achila misar da'riyah. You learn out sa'ar of the achila sa'ar for riyah. Just like by achila, I'm sorry, just like by riyah, it only is yours that you have the issue, and not by a guy's. So too by achila the same thing. Fine. So that's the Machlokes between Rava and Rav Acha bar Yaakov. Now the Gemara is going to ask a kasha that lasts around almost an Amud. This next kasha, yeah, that always doesn't bode well for me. All right, that means you have to actually concentrate for almost an Amud straight. Okay, so V'hoda be Rav Acha bar Yaakov me'ahi. And Rav Acha bar Yaakov changed his mind. Right? He went back on his shita of what Rabbi Yehuda held. The Tanya, ha'oichel chametz shel hekdesh b'mayid. If you eat the chametz of hekdesh on chol hamoed, mal, right? Rabbanan, so this is what you're discussing, right? So the hekdesh owns chametz, right? We said that's not a problem. At least midoraisa is not a problem. So what happens if you ate the hekdesh of, right? We had 2-3 days ago that you're over on meila. By mistake, you went and you ate the chametz of hekdesh. So if you eat Hekdesh, then you're over on meila. If you do it by mistake, right? But the shaila is when you're doing it on Pesach, chametz is worthless on Pesach, right? So can you be over on meila if what you ate was worthless, right? You can't be over on meila if it's a worthless thing. So chametz on Pesach is worthless, right? So the Tanya, so Eichel chametz shel hekdesh b'mayed. Mal, he still says the Tanakama says you're over on meila, the Yesharim loy mal, and there are those that say that you're not royal, right?
What do you mean it's worthless?
Man, what are you saying?
What do you mean it's worthless? You can feed it to your animals, let's say.
No, it's also bahano.
I know it's awesome by now, but it's not worth. I mean,
So that means it's worthless.
Well,
If
he's
it's
really
also
saying
about, no, it's
oichel. The truth
worthless.
is, well, the truth is he's saying ha'oichel. He's talking about you ate it. That's the truth. You're right. Maybe it could be onto something. Because the Gemara says oichel. It doesn't say nene. You ate it. Right? Mashmana, maybe if he was nene from it, it would be a different din. Okay, but oichel chametz shel hekdesh b'mayid mal. You have Rami Levi Yesharim loy mal, and those that say that you're not moil. Right? Man Yesharim. Who is the Yesharim here? Right? Yeah. So let's. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana. It's Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana. The Tanya, Rabbi Nechunya ben Hakana. He says Yom Kippurim ki Shabbos the Tashlumin. He treated Yom Kippur like Shabbos for Tashlumin, for payment. What does that mean? Ma Shabbos mischayev benafsho yopatim en Tashlumin. So Shabbos, if you decide to go light up a gadish, a pile of straw. Yeah, and so now you're obviously chayav. You're chayav because of you machal Shabbos. Yeah, so but you're potter from paying for the gadish because kamle b'derabamine, right? You get when you have two punishments, so you get the more strict, which is going to be, well, depending if there was hasra or not, but it's going to be koros or misa. So af Yom Kippur is chayav benafshoy. Upatim et Tashlumin. So Yom Kippur also your chayav is your nefesh and you patim et Tashlumin. Meaning koros. His chiddush is that koros is considered. Meaning if you chayav misa, so of course you say kamle b'deramine because bezdin is the one that has to kill, right? But what about koros? Koros is not a tangible punishment. So maybe you don't say kamle b'deramine. Meaning when somebody's chayav misa and he has to pay. So he gets the stricter punishment and he gets off on the lighter punishment, right? But koros, there's nothing tangible about koros. He's not being killed.
Don't we say
he just dies young?
Kedei Rishasei for that?
What do you say?
Don't we say Kedei Rishasei for that?
Well, that's part of this whole tumult here, right?
No, even after Kamei B'Dravamine, we use Kedei Rishasei to add it to Kamei B'Dravamine, to koros. Because the Adav Shemay, what's it called?
Yeah.
And even the Shaygig has a Kamei B'Dravamine because Kedei Rishasei.
Right. Okay. But I don't know how you're going to do that because, well, here you have an additional thing which I forgot to point out, which is that you also have meila here. You also have meila over here, right? So that's a third thing. So how can you be chayav koros? I mean, okay, it's koros with meila. It's a whole cholent that the guy's got going over here, right? And Pesach chametz is also koros, right? Okay, whatever it is. So Rabbi Nechuni ben Akana says that just like you get, we say Kalim with the Rami on Misa, we also say Kalim with the Rami on Karas. Rabbi Yosef Amar, there's whole machlokes is whether you could be paida kachim in order to give it to dogs, right? Because that's a machlokes in Tamura, right? Whether you're allowed to be so to be paida hekdesh in order for a human to eat it. So about you be paida hekdesh, right? But to be paida hekdesh to give it to dogs, that's a machlokes. Mandamar mal. So the one that says that you're over on meila, kasavar paidiness, meaning for Pesach. You are allowed to be paida kachim to give it to dogs. And the one that says loimal, kasavar ain't paida holds that you're not paida, right? In order to give it to dogs. So meaning, and since you can't be paida to give it to dogs, that means it's not right for anything, because a dog theoretically could eat the chametz, right? Fine. So we're still in the middle of the kasha. Rav Acha bar Rava Tanala Laman Tamabeis Laha Shmaitza Mishmei Rav Yosef Bahalish. He learned it with this lashon. The Kuli Alma ain't paida nesa kachim lachilin leklavim. No, everybody holds that you're not allowed to be paida hekdesh in order to give the food to the dogs. Here's where the Machlokes is. The davar agayrim lemamen kamamen dami. Right, we're doing a lot of major shas sugyas here. Right, something that causes money, is that like money? Meaning something that could potentially get you money. Right now it's worthless, like chametz. Right now it's worthless. But after Pesach, its value will go up. Right? So is that called mammon or not? Mandam or mal. So the one that says that you're over on meila from the chametz on Pesach, kasavar davar garam l'mammon, kemammon dami. He holds that after Pesach, it's going to be money, and therefore you're over on meila because it's going to be worth something after Pesach. Umandam reloimal, the one that says that you're not over on meila because kasavar davar garam l'mammon lav kemammon dami, holds that it's not money. So how can you be over on meila if it's not worth anything? Rav Acha bar Yaakov Amar, Rav Acha bar Yaakov is a different shot. The Kuli Alma davar agarim l'mammon kimam. He says everybody holds davar agarim l'mammon is like mammon. V'hacha beplukta the Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Shimon kamiflagi. And here the machlokes that they're having, whether you're over on meila, is tali in the machlokes Rabbi Yehuda Rabbi Shimon from our Mishna. Because Manda Amar loimal, the one that says that you're not over on meila, Rabbi Yehuda. He holds like Rabbi Yehuda, who holds after Pesach, chametz is still worthless. Right? He's saying that everybody holds davar agarim l'mammon is mammon. Right? But what happens if you hold that chametz on Pesach is after Pesach is also asur? Any chametz, according to Rabbi Yehuda, any chametz that was in existence over Pesach is no good after Pesach too. So you can even say davar agarim l'mammon is kamammon dami, but it's worthless because this chametz will never be worth anything. And the one who says it is meila is Reb Shimon, who holds it after Pesach. It's going to become, the chametz is going to become mutter. Rabbi Acha bar Yaakov, who damar to Rabbi Yehuda Yalav Sarda Achilim Sarda Riyah. Isn't Rabbi Acha bar Yaakov and Aman Aleph the one that said that you learn out Sa'ar of Achila from Sarda Riyah, and that chametz of Hekdesh after Pesach is mutter according to Rabbi Yehuda? That was Rabbi Acha bar Yaakov's pshat. So obviously he must have changed his mind. No, Rabbi Acha bar Yaakov may have he should have. He was chayzer from what he said, and therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's never mutter. Even chametz of a guy and even chametz of hekdesh after Pesach is never going to be mutter.
Why can't it just become hefker after Pesach?
No, it's that way. Well, it's not a knas according to Rabbi Yehuda. Doesn't he? Even if it's hefker, if chametz went,
but if it's hefker, then you just take possession of it.
You can't. No, any chametz that was in existence over Pesach, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is a no go. That's it. You gotta bake everything all new. I guess, according to Rabbi Yehuda, there was no such thing as pizza on Motzei Pesach. I don't see how you could pull that one off. Right? At least not till like 3-4 in the morning. Right? Because any chametz in existence, even if you went and bought it from a guy, Stop and Shop, Costco, whatever, it was awesome. We thought that maybe he held that by a guy it would be mutter, and I was saying no, he changed his mind. Yeah, but right. Rav Ashi Omar. Yeah.
Drew, in the Shita that says that after Pesach it's going to have value, therefore on Pesach it's a problem and you're over on meila, right? Right. That's what he said. Wouldn't that mean that when you have right? Wouldn't that mean that when you have it on Pesach, then Lamafreya, you're giving it value? I mean, you're basing the whole fact that it has value on what's happening after Pesach, which means that at the time that you're having it on Pesach, then it really does have value, which is caused by what you're calling what the status is after Pesach.
Right. No, that's but right now on pay, what's are you going which shita? Davar kimaman or lav kimaman? See, if you say davar garan is lav kimaman, right? 1 second, I'm getting confused myself. Saying if you say davar garan is lav kimaman, so then it's never worth anything.
Even after Pesach.
1 second, davar garan is lav kimaman. Then even after Pesach, because right now, is it worth something or not?
Right.
Right
okay.
now, Pesach it's worthless. Even though eventually it's gonna be worth something, that's out,
okay.
right? But if your davar is kimaman, yes, then a chanami. So then you would be over on meila on Pesach.
So how could you say that the status then is hefker?
Who says the status is hefker?
Isn't it? Isn't that what you do with it? Aren't you? Is it just hefker? I mean, what happens to chametz that's sitting in the base? You know that people are makna. What happens to it?
Oh, but you mean if they were over?
Yeah.
I think Pashtus says you have to burn it. No.
So if somebody uses it on Pesach,
what?
That's what we're talking. So we're talking about if somebody uses it on Pesach, no? Right? Whether or not over on.
Right now we're talking about Hekdesh. So then you're over on meila. But if somebody uses it on Pesach, what are you saying? If somebody uses it on Pesach,
saying the fact that we're valuing it after Pesach makes it have value on Pesach. So I don't understand the sheet because you're basing a punishment on the fact that what the chametz is going to be valued after Pesach.
Correct.
So how could you even have a sheet that says that it's not worth anything? It's obviously worth something if you're going to give it value after Pesach.
Well, but I'm saying, why are you saying you're giving it value after Pesach?
Because doesn't he have? Are we saying that maybe I'm not understanding something? But isn't he in the shiloh? Didn't we have a shiloh that he's over on meila because there's a value towards it?
You're over on meila because eventually there'll be a value to it. Yes.
Right. So eventually there'll be a value for it. That means that it never lost its value to begin with.
Yeah, but that's from Hekdesh. No, but a regular person's is going to be worthless. A regular person's going to be worthless, right? I think.
I'm talking about Hekdesh.
Yes, right. So Hekdesh is going to be worth something, but regular persons is going to be worthless. That's about no. I think so. Yeah, I think that's a pshat. I hope that's a pshat. Right. Okay, so let's see. Rav Ashi Omar. Yeah, the Kuli Alma ain't poidin. Everybody holds that you're not allowed to be poida hektish in order to give it to dogs. But and anything that's going to cause eventually going to be worth money is still right now on Pesach not worth anything. And they're going in the Machlokes of Yaakov and the Rabbanon. Mandamar Mal Rabbi Yossi, the one who says that you're on meila, holds like Rabbi Yossi HaGlili. Right, who holds that chametz is mutar ba'ana. Okay, so if chametz is mutar ba'ana, so then avada you can be over on meila. He holds it's there's value to it even on Pesach. Rabbi Yossi HaGlili. Umanda Amar Loima al Rabbanon, the one who holds that you're not is going with Rabbanon, who say it's also on Pesach, and then there's no value to it whatsoever. Okay, so that was not an easy Gemara. now we start for the next couple of blot. I mean, it also ties into our Mishnah, but now the next couple of blot, we starting with heavy-duty kashrus, taruvas, mixtures, and how it becomes aser, and if you can count how many times it says the word min or minoi in the next half an Amud, it's got to be a record. It's got to be a record here. Okay, we'll try and make heads or tails out of it. Okay, so Omar. Okay, so as a hakdama, let's maybe do a hakdama before we go weiter. So when you have mixtures that fall in, you have something that's aser that falls into something that's mutter. Treif falls into heter, right? So there's different types of bittul. Right, you have batul b'roiv, you have batul b'shishim. We said by truma there's batul in 100, or there's 200. Right, there's different things. Now the reason where does shishim come from? Shishim is just another way of saying that there's no taste that goes into this mixture. Right, meaning in the old days, you used to be able to go take a food. If something tray fell into kosher food, you go take it to a guy, right, and you ask the guy, Masiyah. You say, hey, let's say it was milk that fell into a cholent, let's say. So you go to the guy and say, taste this cholent. Do you have any, is there any, how do you tell all you wine people, is there any aroma or whatever? Does it have, what do you call those things? Whatever, does it,
notes?
Not flame. Notes, right? Notes is one,
yeah.
right? Does it have any notes of milk in your cholent or whatever? Yeah. So is it imbued? How do they say it? Imbued? Whatever.
Imbued.
Anyways, right? Imbued with aroma of milk in your cholent, right? And if he says it is, then it's aser. If he says he doesn't taste any milk, then it's fine, right? But we're not samech on goyim anymore. So what we do is we just go with shishim. The assumption is that there's 60 times more, then it's no problem. But that only works if it's min b'she'ein minoi, right? That's only if, for lemashal, that's if milk falls into cholent, right? But what happens if a treif cholent falls into a kosher cholent? Then there's no way to be able to tell if the taste and if the treif cholent enhanced the kosher cholent, right? There's no way to be able to tell. So that's a different that's a Machlokes, whether we say shishim or mashu, right? So anyway, all these type of bittles, it depends on what's being mixed in. Min b'minai, min b'she'ein minai, and we know that it goes with roiv. Sometimes we also go with roiv, right? Dry things normally you go with roiv. Right? That's what we had many times. One piece of meat, one treif piece of meat falls into two kosher pieces of meat, then all three pieces of meat become kosher. That's right. That's a batul b'roiv. Okay. So the shaila is, what's the status of chametz? Yeah. So Amar Rav. So Rav said, now about the two dots here. Chametz bismanoi. Chametz during the zman, meaning during Pesach itself. Bein b'minoi, bein b'she'ein minoi. Whether the chametz falls into its same type. So let's say chametz flour, I guess, would fall into kosher Pesach flour or something like that. Or how about let's say chametz cake. A chametz cake falls into a kosher cake, right? So whether it's the same type of food, whether the chametz falls into the same type, or whether it falls not into a different type, aser, it's aser. Meaning aser is a code word for it's not batul ever, right? That's why it's aser. Yeah, shaloi bizmanai. But if it's not during the time, either it's before Pesach or after Pesach, so then it depends. B'minoi aser. If it falls into the same type of food, then it's aser, because there's no way to tell whether it gave off any flavor or not. Shaloi b'minoi mutter. But if it's not with the min, if it's not in the same, then it's going to be mutter. If it's batul, it has to be batul, obviously. Yeah. So the Mayaskina, what are we talking about? Mayaskina, what are we talking about? If we're talking about where it's giving tam, right? With a one type falls in the other type, it's giving tam. What does that mean? That not at the proper time, meaning either before Pesach or after Pesach, and it's not in its min, meaning a piece of chametz cake falls into soup, let's say. then it's mutter, chayav timer. It gives tam, right? Even though it's batul, even though there's more than 50% kosher than chametz, but it's still giving tam, right? Ela b'mashu, so it must be a mashu. It has to be a mashu. So then chametz bizmanoi, yeah. Then the next case, chametz bizmanoi, bein b'mina bein shalai b'mina is also. If it's chametz during Pesach, whether it falls into the same type, like cake into cake or cake into soup, then it's both aser. Aser b'mashu, it's never mutter. Rav l'tamei, where does Rav come from? The Rav and Shmuel, the Amri Tavai, Rav and Shmuel both say, Kol Yisurim Shabbatayra, all Yisurim in the Torah b'minoi b'mashu, shaloi b'minoi b'nois and tam. If it's b'minoi, it's a mashu. Shaloi b'minoi, it's b'nois and tam. Right? So, again, it's everywhere in the Torah. Rav and Shmuel both hold that if something falls in min b'minoi, it's aser b'mashu, and there's no bittul. Shaloi b'minoi, and if it's not the proper type, b'nois and tam, then it has to give tam, which is another word for shishin. So Rav Gozar, now here's where the Gezeres go. Rav Gozar, chametz bizmanoi. Rav says that chametz during Pesach, shaloi b'minoi, right, which normally he would say is shishim, atu minoi. He's making a gezerah because maybe one type is going to fall into the same type in Pesach, and meila, since Pesach is so chomer, so he's afraid. So therefore he's machmer. V'shaloi b'zmanoi, and if it's not at the time, meaning after Pesach, b'minoi aser, Rabbi Yehuda, and with min it's aser like Rabbi Yehuda, who holds chametz after Pesach is aser. V'shaloi b'minoi, but if it's in a different type, it's mutter. It's mutter. Why? The shaloi b'zmanoi v'shaloi b'minoi atu minoi kulei like azrina. You can't go make a gezerah that chametz after Pesach, which is obviously not as strict as chametz on Pesach, and say that you want to aser b'mashu because, and it's shaloi b'minoi because maybe it's minoi on Pesach kulei like azrina. That far you can't make the gezerah. That's Rav's way of learning it. Shmuel Amar.
Is Rav saying this because he learns Rabbi Yehuda l'shitase?
Rabbi Yehuda l'shitase what?
Min b'minoi le'batul is Rabbi Yehuda.
I think it's a total different thing. He's holding like Yehuda by Pesach, having nothing to do with what he holds. He made his own gezerah up here based on the Rabbi Yehuda holds that chametz after Pesach is awesome. Right? That's the way I understand it. Shmuel Amar chametz bizmanoi b'minoi aser shaloi b'minoi mutter. Right? So he has a different pshat. He says that chametz on Pesach. See, Rava said that they're both aser. But Shmuel is saying no. B'minoi it's aser b'mashu. Shaloi b'minoi is mutter. Shaloi b'zmanoi, not during Pesach. Bein b'minoi, bein shaloi b'minoi. Whether it's the same type, whether it's not the same type, it's mutter. Chametz now he says pshat. Chametz b'zmanoi b'minoi aser. Chametz during Pesach, if it falls into its own type, it's aser. Shmuel otamei, and Shmuel goes according to what he holds. The Rava Shmuel Damri Tavayu Kol Yisurim Shabbatar b'minoi asurim b'mashu. Right? If it's the same type, it's also b'mashu, and if it's not the same type, it's b'nois and tam. Shaloi b'minon atuminon loigazer, and he doesn't have this gezerah that something that's not the min that it might fall into the min. There's no gezerah. Shaloi b'zmanoi bein b'minon bein shaloi b'minon mutar and karab shimon. If it's shaloi b'zmanoi, then whether it's the same type, whether it's not the same type, it's mutter karab shimon who holds it after Pesach. It's no problem. That's the second way. So now we had Rav's way of learning whether chametz is batul or not, and we had Shmuel's way. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, a third way. Chametz bizmanoi bein b'minoi bein shaloi b'minoi is aser. That's like Rav. On Pesach, chametz, whether it's that type or it's not that type, it's aser. B'nois and tam, aser b'nois and tam, it's aser if it gives off tam, meaning shishin, not b'mashu. Shaloi bizmanoi, right after Pesach, bein b'minon, bein shaloi b'minon is mutter. Chametz bizmanoi, bein b'minoi, bein shaloi b'minoi, b'nois and tam. And chametz during the time is, now he's explaining it. Chametz bizmanoi, bein b'minoi, bein shaloi b'minoi, b'nois and tam. Why? Rabbi Yochanan l'tamei, Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish, Damri Tavayu, Kol Yisurim Shabbatayra, bein b'minon, bein shaloi b'minon is b'nois and tam. All Yisurim in the Torah, and this is where we paskin, whether it's the min, whether it's a code word for shish. The loiv is manai, but if it's not in the time, bein b'minon, bein shaloiv b'minon mutar and kirab shimon, then it's going to be mutar as long as it's batul b'roiv, like Reb Shimon. Okay, so basically we have three shitas here in how to learn whether chametz is batul b'mashu or not, and then tomorrow, Be'ez Hashem, we will discuss the halacha l'maisa of it. So I appreciate the sticking through with this hard Amud. But even if don't have chalishas adas just because today was hard Amud, because tomorrow we'll get the maskonas advarim, and then we'll get the psak halacha l'maisa.
How do you have b'mina? How do you have
Good
b'mina and b'nais and tam? How do you have b'mina and b'nais and tam according to Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish?
How do you have the minon b'nais and tam, right? Because it's not possible.
Meaning, how's it possible? I thought it was a Matthias issue.
Correct. Right.
So what does he mean that everything is b'nais and tam? How's that possible?
Yeah, because I don't think it means that. It means that theoretically it would give tam, but if
So
it's
how do you?
shishim,
I'm saying
it's going to negate it. Shishim is going to negate it, right? No.
I mean, I don't know. How would you ever know? That's what I'm asking. Like, isn't that why Rav and Shmuel did not agree with that? What's Pshat and Rav and Shmuel then? Why b'mashu then?
They're saying, meaning they're saying that mina the shaila is really.
I'm asking stam, not in regards to chametz. I'm saying stam is there.
And echanami stam. It's a shaila whether minan shalai b'minan is a issa darais, issa darabanan, right? The bittul beroiv. Been out since Thursday.
Right? The bittul minai or ain't minai?
What?
You were talking about minai now or ain't minai?
What are you saying?
Minai.
Machlokes.
Oh, he's asking about minai. Minai. He was asking about minai.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like remember this. I did this many years ago.
No. It's a machlokes. No, it's a machlokes. Yeah, it's a machlokes whether we say min b'minai can be batul at all.
Let me ask you a question. If it's been nice in tam, if the isser is if it's giving tam, then obviously it can't be batul, right? B'mitzias. Is that correct?
If something's nice in tam, it cannot be batul. Correct.
Right. So now
unless
normally Rav and
maybe.
Shmuel. Right, but Rav and Shmuel hold that since b'mina you can't know that, even Mashu asers it. Correct? You can't know that Matthias.
Yeah.
So then
Correct.
how does Rabbi Yochanan come along and say no, we could it's still batul if it's Mashu? How do you know? You don't know if it's giving time or not giving time.
Why can't you know that Mitzias?
He argues on them on who the halach is like. The machlokes of min b'minai lay batul or batul b'shishim.
So Yaakov, give it to a guy. Why can't you know the Mitzias?
No,
give it to a guy.
Min b'minai.
How you know min b'minai? We don't know.
That's one type into another type. If they both taste the same, let's say yayin nesach falls into kosher yayin. Right? There's no way to taste. You can taste it from today till tomorrow. Now the question is dry wine with you can
fine, but let's say it's mamish min.
That's all.
Right. I'm not asking. I'm saying
if your mamish have a min b'minoi, and a chanami, that's the machlokes whether we treat min b'minoi as it's aser because there's no way to tell, so therefore we aser it, or do we say no? It's gonna it does have you do have a way of figuring out with saying by shishim.
But how is that figuring out?
No, that's a machlokes tanaim, right? So be Yehuda and the Rabbanon.
This machlokes hamayroim is which Tana we paskin like.
I'm just trying to understand the side.
Of which Amayr we paskin like.
Yeah.
What? According to, I'm just trying to understand this. Rav and Shmuel hold that it's not possible to do this, so we can't be you can't batul it. How does it?
Correct.
Correct. So what the other side?
They go like the
Rabbanon.
Rabbanon.
Right, but the other side saying we don't care.
Like
even if we
no, they pass like
Rabbi Yehuda. It's Rabbi Yehuda, yeah.
I'm sorry. I said it backwards. Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish go like the Chachamim, who hold you can be mevatel min b'minai. Rav and Shmuel go like Rabbi Yehuda, hold that you can't.
Yeah, but didn't you say the reason why you can't is because you don't know? So the other shita holds what?
Correct.
We don't care?
That even if you don't know,
it's a drasha.
even
It's
if
a
you don't-
drasha ultimately.
yes, but the svara behind it is even if you don't know, l'maisa it's batul b'shishim, it's batul b'shishim. No.
What, behind who? Behind the Chachamim?
Yeah.
The Machlokes Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim and Mimina is whether you learn the drasha or not. Rabbi Yehuda learns the
Yeah,
drasha,
right.
so meila it's like batul, according to Rashi Midiraisa. According to the Chachamim, they don't learn the drasha. So there's batsam bittul beroiv. But there's a gzeira of shishim atu.
They hold that midairaisa it's batul beroiv. They hold midairaisa it's batul beroiv.
But it's interesting because
And
if
midrabanan
it
it's shishim.
if it be shalai b'minai, we'd be worried about the time.
Yeah.
Meaning
If
you
it
wouldn't say
be shalai
batul
b'minai, we'd be worried
b'raiv. You
about the
wouldn't
time.
say right. You wouldn't say batul b'raiv if it's shalai b'minai. Then you worry about nice and
You
time or
wouldn't
not
say
nice and time.
According to
b'roiv.
Rashi,
Correct.
you would.
Correct.
So what I'm asking is that shalai b'minai it comes on to different svara even according to Rabbi Yochanan. Shalai b'minai you worry about the nice and time or not nice and time. You can't ignore the nice and time if it's nice and time. Correct.
Right.
So then how does it? What does he do if shalai b'minai we worry about the nice and time? How do you ignore the nice and time when it comes to b'minai?
There is no nice in town.
Of course, there's a nice in time. We just don't know.
There isn't.
It's nice in time. The question is can you detect it or not?
Oh, you're going with the Rashba. Yeah. The Pashta says min b'minai le'batul has nothing to do with time. It's a drasha. From
As far as we were saying before, it had to do with time, though.
Yeah, because it's easier to explain with Tom. The term shishim and not shishim is to do with Tom.
But if there was time,
comparing-
that's what I'm saying. Shalai b'mina, if there was time, you wouldn't say it's batul.
If there's time, it's not batul. But shishim, there's
Right.
no time.
That's the assumption. But if there is time, you wouldn't be mevatel.
Correct.
So then if there is a problem of time, there's always a problem of time. Then b'mina, we just don't know.
No, we take it for granted. There's no time in b'mina.
Why?
That's the definition of min
Why?
b'mina.
Be aside, Rabbi Yochanan
Definition
holds
of
that.
min b'mina.
No, but Akiva, there's also another thing there's another thing that's negeya. If it's min b'minoi, right, then we don't care because it's not being enhanced by anything. That's another svara.
So then what second? So then what's shot on the other sheet though? Min b'minoi should be the
that's
easiest.
part of the
I'm just saying, if the Machlokes is what does that mean?
You're right.
That it's not nice and time.
What-
That it's not nice and time. Then you just
you're right.
flip the whole svara around.
Correct.
Akiva,
Welcome to the world of
Akiva.
Taruvas.
So the
It's
Machlokes
called
is whether
Taruvas
we
because
worry
it
about
mixes-
whether we worried about. I don't. Okay.
Akiva, you're
Yeah,
mechavan to
it's-
Rashi.
you know what?
That's Shitas Rashi, the whole Taruvas. Min b'mina le'batul is a
Right.
drasha. That's the Raisa. Tom Kanker, according
I
to
know, but
Rashi,
this-
is a drabanan.
With this terrorist,
Right.
I feel all mixed up.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Doctor. People think they call it taruvas because it's about mixtures. No, it mixes you totally. You can mamish learn the sugya every day, and every day you got to start it again from scratch because it's mamish. I don't know, at least for me. I don't know about anybody else.
And then
Sounds
the
like-
mechavan
sounds like
is an
marriage.
aleph after it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So. Anyways.
Reb, I have a question.
Akiva, I wish I could give you
Prior-
better. Akiva, I'm sorry. I wish I could give you better answers.
No problem. I'm just trying to dig
Mechavan
here.
to
Go ahead.
Rashi.
Yeah.
Akiva, you're mechavan
What are you
to
saying,
Rashi.
Binyamin?
Prior
So
to
Rashi's
learning
confused?
learning tonight's daf,
Yeah.
I thought that the reason why chametz was more chamer with neged to taruva is just because it's something that I forget what it's called, but you don't say batul. No. You're not going to say batul on something that in 8 days you're going to be able to eat, right? It's a sci-fi. It's going to be able. Batul doesn't work on something that will be kosher in 8 days, right?
I just totally froze. Davar sheyesh matirin.
Yes, on a davar sheyesh matirin, you don't say. But
now that's a big okay. Now you're really making it taruvas.
But
Okay,
now,
because-
according to that sheet, then how does Rabbi Yehuda, who holds that that it's usher, if chametz is usher after Pesach, right? Then it's not a davar sheish matir.
Correct. That is a big machlokes, a different machlokes rishonim, whether chametz is considered davar sheyesh matirin, because lemaisa it's going to be also next Pesach.
Well, no, I'm just even saying in this machlokes, Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, right?
Right.
It's only according to Rabbi Shimon, right, that it's going to be mutter afterwards. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it's
It's
usher
also.
anyway.
I mean,
So,
that's a good point. That's a very good point. I
so
didn't get what you said.
then there's no
According to
davar.
you, it's not a davar sheyesh matirin.
Right. So then I'm just curious. According to Yehuda, what is more chamer about chametz than
I think because of the chayav chorus. I think the chayav chorus, because that's another reason. Because it's a chayav chorus, so
Well,
therefore the
bedili,
mixtures are more that and b'dlai bedili. That and b'dlai bedili. So yeah, but now you gave me more food for thought. Now really, I wasn't really fried before that. Now I'm really. How do you fit those shitas in? Yeah, this is If it wasn't Daf Yomi, it would be. I don't want to say it would be geschmack, but it would be what to work on.
Yeah,
but
seems like a big sugi
It would be
here.
nice to spend a month on this
Tomorrow's
subject.
daf Bez Hashem is all about kashering, so that's a real practical daf, right? So it's either I'm going to try and figure this one out and not figure out tomorrow's, or I don't know which way to go. I think I'll stick with tomorrow. I think I'll stick with tomorrow's.
Well, it's Yaakov. You know what the Givaldic is? They coming out with this vaccine.
Oh, we got to come full circle, yeah.
Yeah, the Islam is thinking, wag, wow, we now have a handle on it. And the Rebbeinu Shalom is saying, yeah, you think so? All right, let me send you another strain.
I know, I'm a little worried about that, Peretz.
If you don't believe in the Rebbeinu Shalom, then none of this, that's my whole take on this. The Rebbeinu Shalom is telling everybody, relax. You know what I mean? I got you covered. If you don't believe in the Rebbeinu Shalom, then plus epis, you know what I mean? Warp speed. Right when they're getting excited about it, then there's another strain.
I hear. Amen.
He believes in us. So we have to believe in him.
It's true. I'm saying, but sometimes we gotta stop thinking about koichi v'aitzim yodi. We gotta think, right? Yeah. Anyways, I hear parrots. I hear the Muslim. All right, fine.
Yaakov,
yes.
Are you gonna start tomorrow?
Lost you there, boy.
With the Amarova and Chulin? Or not?
What do you mean? What, I'm gonna start it? What do you mean?
What?
What's the matter with the Amarova right here?
Amarova, Amarabanan, the Batam. Yeah, because it's the start of the whole thing. Amarabanan Batam, Amarabanan Bashishim, Amarabanan Beklela.
Oh, I should. What I'm saying? Why do I have to make everybody nuts with that? What? What I'm saying? Why should I go with that?
I don't know who drank more, me or you.
Lost him.
Cleveland, they don't have the 3G yet.
Shoot, now I lost it.
Now you're back. I'm saying
I'm back.
Why should we go through that whole sugya?
This is really the start of this whole thing, to understand nice and Tom.
Yeah, but we're over with this sugya in 7 lines in, man. 7 lines into the Amud is the promised land of a 2 dots. And then we get into right? And then we get into koshering utensils, which sounds a whole lot more
it's not that much more simple.
No, it's not. It's not, but at least yeah. Yeah. Anyways. All right.
Is
there anyone that holds, talking about koshering, is there anyone that holds that when you kosher for Pesach, you're still not allowed to kosher from milchiks to fleishiks to milchiks?
If anybody holds the what?
The gezeira of the shach, that we don't today kosher from milchiks to fleishiks to milchiks.
Yeah.
When you kosher for Pesach, can you do that?
Yes. Yes.
Is there anyone that holds that you can't still?
Is there anybody who holds that you can't?
Yeah, I do. Does that help you?
It's the opposite of what you hold.
Is there anybody that holds that you can't? Yes, there are shitas that hold you can't. I don't, of
Really?
course,
Wow.
I don't remember them offhand. Check the Piskei Teshuvos or the Dirshu. One of them that has, I think, brings those that say not.
Wow.
Who is it? It's a Chassam Sofer that's the one that says you can? It's a Chassam Sofer?
I think so. I think the Piskei Teshuvos brings it on that shot. No, he doesn't. I don't know. Remember who brings it? I don't know.
I hear no. If I remember, I'll look.
I mean, it's not directly connected to tomorrow, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fine.
Okay, Gershon, could you stop giving the rabbi so much homework?
No, I'm just gonna make him say the daf. That's all. He gives too much. He'll say the daf. Yeah. Fine. All right.
You think
Feel
tonight
good.
was a schwache night? Wait till tomorrow if I'm saying it.
Let me tell you, tonight was a rough daf. This is a rough one. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Yes,
Zag is
Natalia.
with everybody.
Have a good night.